Oh, what a night it has been for EBW so far, and kind of the official kickoff to the 21st season for XCW. And as we speak, the main event is taking place currently at Glory for that XCW championship between Miano Diaz and ACT. Could EBW figuratively and literally have nearly all the gold? Well, we'll find out as this telecast goes on. But I want to get to, ladies and gentlemen, a man, although he technically, as I say, he's a man, has made sort of an appearance on Sportswire Radio in the past, not too long ago. But tonight, he gets to make his real official debut. And this man, I have been wanting to speak with this man. Figuratively, I'm going to continue to call him the man because he is the man. And I'm going to have something to present to him that he very well might want to see that will forever permanently cement him in being the man. But I'll certainly leave that for a little while. But this man's resume speaks for itself, pound for pound. One of the greatest wrestlers, not only in XCW history, but in underground and backyard wrestling history. A man that has made quite a name for himself with 4 championships, 4 times the XCW heavyweight champion. He has won 4 other championships in XCW. He has had a decorated run in the independents. He has squared off with a who's who of people in XCW. And now, in a way, you might want to say, ladies and gentlemen, he has been the straw that has stirred the drink for EBW's sudden reversal in fortunes, and his own fortunes the last 2 weeks have certainly gone in an uptick, bigger than anyone's stock portfolio, and certainly bigger than anyone's Bitcoin, because this man is back. He's primed and poised for another big run, and I can't wait to also share his story and his journey, which took place nearly 20 years ago. It's been filled with peaks and valleys. It's been filled with personal falls, pitfalls, but also he's been back at the top of the mountain, and he's also going to share his experiences about many people that he's wrestled, some that are in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, like Justin Parsley, who's no longer got those tag team championships alongside his brother, Bob Slater. Chris Jones, a man that he has been to hell and back with, which I'm still trying to figure out, how are these guys now once again aligned after what these men have tried to do to each other? Fletch, certainly an interesting man. But we can go on and on and on about our guest tonight. But as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, by my introduction, I am so excited about him that I have given him the usual longer introduction that almost anybody gets. And it's almost quite like a Hall of Fame introduction, but not quite, not for this appearance, but he will get something to kind of showcase, as I said, who he is and what he's done in this great sport. But it's time to formally introduce our guest tonight and give him that introduction that so many people have gotten on Sportswire Radio and so many of his colleagues that he shares a locker room with in XCW and now EBW, and I am so delighted to do it. We didn't get a chance to do it when he was on here several weeks ago. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are kicking off kind of in our own way for March Madness to the start of the underground and backyard wrestling season, and I could not think of a better person than to kick it all off with. So let's get right to it and give him that introduction that he deserves. So with that, without further ado, here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show. XCW Hall of Famer, 4-time heavyweight champion of the world, the newest member of EBW. His name is Tom I guarantee you, Trinity and Blackheart has not given this man that introduction, and it feels damn good to have done it because I've been waiting 7 months for it, and that's a shoot. That's no work. Tommy the Man Merriman, how are you? And congratulations on the huge win tonight.
Hey, I appreciate it. The Reverend Tom Price, man, thank you so much, brother. I cannot have said it better myself. Thank you so much.
Oh, baby, Tommy Merriman, I have been waiting a long time to have you formally on Sportswire Radio, and I think there is no better time because, again, this is kind of the unofficial kickoff to the underground and the backyard wrestling season. We've got
Hmm.
you guys in XCW that kick things off in glory, but Tommy the Man Merriman, really, it's been glory so far for EBW because you guys have been nearly flawless tonight, and I got to talk about your match here with Hunter Halkin because certainly Hunter Halkin felt not only a cyclone, he kind of felt maybe a wind that was blowing here from the Big Apple because not only did you basically disseminate him like a bomb, Eric Mason apparently blew him up like there's no tomorrow. So, I mean, Tommy the Man Merriman, talk about, first of all, for those that are listening and watching on Sportswire Radio, on the big win and just how it all felt to kick the season off here in style for EBW with that big win, as I stated, over Hunter Halkin.
Well, I mean, me and Hunter, I actually brought Hunter into the business and to be a part of XCW, and I'm proud of the kid. He's done so many things that a lot of the greenhorns, aka rookies, that are a part of the roster. You know what I mean? He surpassed them.
Oh, my God,
And
yep.
kudos to him. Even though that he came out a little short, on the match, Corey knew what the hell he was doing. He was setting him up for failure. And I've never had a full on one with Hunter, and tonight was my first one. And the only thing I can say to Hunter, man, brother, keep at it.
Well,
You'll get there.
Tommy, I got to say this, and I know a lot of people want to say hello to you. We've even got some friends of the show that are here, and they want to say hi to you. A couple of people that you've definitely shared a locker room with. But this was the match, Tommy, that I've been waiting for you in XCW for a while. I mean, I know we had the feud with Jackson Law where, your personal
Hmm.
history got thrown in there. I talked about that with
Hmm.
Jackson a couple times. Russell, when we inducted him into the Hall of Fame the first time he came on. But, and again, with all due respect to some of your opponents out there, and I'm not going to go into those cements. We could talk about those wins, but this was the match, Tommy the Man Merriman, that showcases who you are and what you should be doing. And it looks like Chris Jones and EBW also see the same thing that I see. And this was the opponent, kind of what the doctor ordered for, I think, a huge season coming up where I think you're primed and poised to get some more gold.
Absolutely. Oh, and another, forgot to mention, I was Evolution World Heavyweight Champion for well over a year
Oh, we
out of
can
Logansport,
certainly
Indiana.
bring that up. You're Tommy the Man Merriman. Oh, hell yeah. You can
Uh,
question me like there's
um,
no tomorrow.
but yeah, I mean, I see gold in my future, just like anybody else. Absolutely. You know, the thing is, man, is you got to work towards it. Everything is based off a story. Storyline, story based, whatever it is, choreographed or not choreographed, walk and talk. It doesn't matter. But me as a performer and as a wrestler, I started 20 years ago.
I know we talked
Okay.
about 2005 was when you appeared in XCW, and it's
Yep. Yep.
2024. I'm like, wow, it's been 19 years.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Long time. Um, and
You had
how I got
Miano
in it.
Diaz in your group that I don't even know. Was he born in 2005? I don't know. I have to think about it.
I think half the roster wasn't born in 2005.
I wasn't going to say that, Tommy.
um, but yeah, no, Miano Diaz, man, is a whole different story. That kid has so much potential, and for him, first time ever EBW champion, that.
Actually, it's funny you said that as I'm watching, because I watched the finish there where we saw the two referees come out.
Mhm.
Miano Diaz is the brand new EBW champion. I mean, you got to be so proud tonight because this is the night that EBW has really been waiting for since EBW came
Absolutely.
back almost 8 months ago. I mean, this was like literally a clean sweep tonight.
Absolutely. And, definitely, Miano, if you ever watch this, man, or if you ever tune in, congratulations, brother. Wish that I could be out there with you, man, but I was celebrating the back myself. So,
No, you're here on Sport. No. Tommy, actually, you're here on Sportswire because, yes, now we see the rest of your compadres in EBW. And shout out to all of them. Chris Jones is in our Hall of Fame. Brady Branson, love Brady Branson. He was the man that took, I think, the most awards of anybody at the XCW year-end awards back in December. James Cerebral's messaged me many times. I mean, so listen, your compadres are handling it. They know that you had to come onto Sportswire to represent
absolutely.
EBW
Absolutely.
and to represent XCW because you are the man after all.
Absolutely, man. And, with really haven't faced Miano, that much at all. Now, like Chris and Brady Branson and James Cerebral and, and Hayden Vex. Hayden Vex was probably one of the toughest men that I've ever had the pleasure
Oh
to
my
share
God,
the ring
Hayden
with.
Vex and his history, and he was battling ACT there for the world title before we saw obviously things kind of unraveled a little bit there. But yeah, I mean this EBW, this is finally the EBW that I think people were waiting for. You've got the tag team championships.
I'm not gonna make any spoilers, but I'm just saying, man, nobody's safe.
Nobody's safe. Well,
Nobody's safe.
Chris Jones did talk about the targets tonight. Now that was referenced once again. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure that there's got to be more targets out there. I mean, I know you and Chris have an interesting history. I mean, you want to talk about histories. I thought you and Fletch had a history. I mean, you and Chris Jones is like, I don't know where to start.
No, I think Chris Jones is like one of the only ones that I would ever let throw me off of a roof.
I know you said that before when he interviewed you, oddly enough.
No. And but yeah, like the history with me and Chris, man, what set it off with us was like I believe it was like 2009. It was a street fight, man, and it was the first ever Inferno match. I mean, I was
the one where Chris like almost like seriously got hurt, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't that the one?
absolutely. And I was to leave my mark on XCW. Been doing this stuff 20 years. I was in the first ever Inferno match. Canadian lumberjack match, which was not pleasant.
I would imagine.
But there's one thing that I'm very, very thankful, man, to be called the man today. If it wasn't for a simple individual that's no longer with us, 187 Genocide, aka Benji Kaufman.
And his birthday's coming up in less than 2 weeks from now. And, I'm going to say it here, and I'm glad you brought him up because we're going to induct him into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And Justin Parsley's supposed to be there. And I would love, we've asked anybody in the locker room if they would like to speak about their memories of Benji and everything.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's going to be 9:00 Eastern time. So you're absolutely welcome. And anybody from the locker room is going to be welcomed. And I have
awesome,
a that'll be planned. And we really wanted to do that, because of how much he meant. We heard what Chris has said about him, Fletch has said about him, obviously Justin and Rob Slater, although you guys are enemies right now currently on the battle line. But I'm sure 13 days from now you won't be enemies for this moment. But a lot of the guys that we've spoken, Blackheart even spoke about him for a few minutes. There's a lot of people that we've had on, from the locker room have talked about his impact. And, it's in a way, is it tough because it is his birthday coming? I know we're going to induct him and it'll be great for a night, but he meant so much to you and to so many that we've gotten a chance to know in XCW.
Benji, 187, man. He was a real big inspiration on my life, man, and a big part of the training regiment that we had back then. These guys now completely have it easy, and if you ever seen 187, do an up down, I'm telling you, it's possible. But no, like Benji, man, he touched a lot of hearts, man. And anybody that had the pleasure to know him
I mean, he's the
He
reason
got
Justin's in XCW. I mean, listen, Justin, Justin's had, I mean, we all know Justin's had the weirdest history or the most, difficult history with Fletch. But,
yeah,
I mean, listen, and we've all had issues with Fletch for whatever reason. I have no idea why I have an issue with Fletch at the moment, but that's a shoot there pretty much. But, the facts are is that, no, I'm serious. I mean, listen, I
yeah,
love XCW and I love the company. I just don't understand, sometimes there are, decisions that are made by, or people say certain things. But, the point is that, Justin, he wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. You've
right.
had a 19-year history with this company, ups and downs, and he was a big part of your life. And I mean, I just think that he really XCW in a lot of ways wouldn't be where it is if it wasn't for him.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that if Benji was still here with us today, man, and he would absolutely love the fact of where XAW is today. You know, Not a lot of people thought that 20 years ago, 21 years ago, doesn't matter
I
how many
always say
years.
it all the time. It's almost like an American small business success story. It's a definition of an American dream.
Exactly,
Somebody
exactly.
starts a company and they work their way from the ground to the trampoline to then kind of in the middle of going into the indoors. I mean, that's really to me the
Right.
true definition of a small business success story. I always say it all the time.
Absolutely. And but like I said, if it wasn't for Benji, like Fletch and Chris, and Dylan Bostic, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Um,
And who's
if it
obviously
wasn't,
a very decorated career in his own right in the independents. I mean,
absolutely, absolutely,
he's got
and
the
definitely
check on
kudos to
social
him.
media. When you have the check on social media, like the verified, without having to pay for it, yeah, you've done pretty well. So we all know.
Absolutely, absolutely. No, Dylan's definitely come a long way, man, and definitely kudos to him
Sure.
on the movies that he's done and the music that he makes, and for his future endeavors, man. I hope that it takes him where he wants to go.
Amen to that.
Um,
Amen.
but back to Benji, man. Like if it wasn't for Benji and and the co-founders paving the way for guys like me, and yes, I even consider myself, and it's it, it's about a moral respect for this man, and how he went. I definitely wouldn't have wished upon my worst enemy.
Oh, for sure.
Um,
I know it's always so tough. We've been covering
yeah,
the company now for about 9 or 10 months, and I always, when somebody's so young, leave aside their influence in XCW, but in the sport, but a man that really still hadn't lived his prime. I think that's the most
right,
difficult point. I speak with people all the time. I speak with people in all backgrounds, all walks of life. I've
right,
had a career in politics, so I've knocked on 15,000 doors in 1 year, and I speak to people, and I've seen things. I've had people pull a gun on me. Just I've had people,
right.
different things and different experiences. But like just to talk about a man, to take away from you for a second, your nickname, but that is no longer with us. And, that's the most sad part. And the only thing we can try to do is remember his impact and try to honor it. It's very similar to in a company I work with in the UK called Cullery Championship Wrestling, a guy, Mr. Carnage.
Right.
Sean Duffy passes away at 41 or 42. And it's like, okay, well, how do I process this? And I think that people are going to process this hopefully on April the 3rd, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Yourself and anybody from the locker room is welcomed as we pay tribute and respect and induct the one and only Kurt Acid, Genocide Benji, into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. And I couldn't think of a better way to do it on his birthday, nonetheless. So if you knew him, you're welcome to be there. Let me say hello to you.
Absolutely.
A lot of people want to talk to you. Want to say hello to my buddy, the good guy, CJ Black, who is the ROEW champion of the world. It was nice to meet Tommy in person for the brief 10 seconds that it was. Coolest ROEW guy that I met. Wow.
I'm a busy man. I'm a busy man. I stick and move. You know what I mean? No.
You should see my phone contacts. I have 5,000 contacts in them, and there are people that are like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And I don't answer the phone.
Right.
I have five. No,
Right.
I have
Right.
5,000 contacts. I have like 104,000 emails, and I don't go through them. I just
Right.
only the important people I get to.
I think I
But
have like 32,000.
there you
That's
go.
on my Gmail. Right.
So you
Yeah.
understand. You understand it correctly. Want to say hello to my buddy who's going into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, a fellow colleague of yours at
Anthony
one point
Steele.
in the locker room, Anthony Steele, the former New Age champion. Want to say hello to
Probably
my
one of the sickest, most nastiest cuts I've ever seen in my life was from Anthony Steele and DJ Wilbert.
Oh, well, you know
Yeah,
what? He's
that.
got some more comments, Anthony Steele. He's actually got a lot to say, actually, which he always does. But, I want to say a little to my buddy Big Tex, the big man of DBW down in the state of Maryland. How you doing there, my buddy? Want to say hello to another buddy of mine, the nemesis, James Taylor, a show that you should be on at some point because he's got 108,000 followers out there. So James Taylor is,
Holy
yes,
crap!
he's a big deal.
Awesome.
He's a very big deal on
Well,
TikTok and
nice to meet you, man.
Instagram. Yes, very, very nice man. Very nice man. Love James Taylor, also in my Hall of Fame. But Mr. Steele says he wants a match with you.
Well,
Speak to Fletch. That's the word, right? Speak to Fletch.
speak to the boss, man.
Yeah, pretty much. That's the only thing I could say. But I would love to see it. I mean, I would love to see you and Anthony. I would love. You both are in the Indies now. Anthony's in the Indies now. He's in NOCW. I mean, he's
Okay.
been up here, and actually, you're gonna chuckle at this. I actually off the air watched an XCW match of Anthony's with somebody you actually referenced before he became your last opponent.
Oh yeah.
Ring a
Right
bell
on.
now. Ring a bell.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Ring a bell. That was an interesting match.
Oh yeah.
Let me just say it that way. I don't want to say anything further before I further incriminate myself. Want to say hello to the boogeyman of the Midwest, who you also shared a locker room with, Omen
Omen
Black.
Black.
We hope Omen is recovering. It was a pleasure meeting Tommy and getting the chance to pick his brain. Real down to earth guy.
Absolutely, man. Definitely. Talking about IMF, man. Drove all the way to Iowa.
How long was
Um,
that for you, by the way, from your commute? What was your drive like?
um, well, I had to stop in Fort Wayne to pick up Jay Ellis. He was
Oh,
actually
yes. I know Jay Ellis. We
booked
saw
for
him
the
on the
show.
show today.
So it took 2 hours off my time. So instead of it being like 6 or 7 hours, it came out to be like 8 or 9 hours. And
Oh,
we got
my.
there. We got there within 5 minutes of Jay Ellis going up,
Holy shoot. Wow.
and they still put on a banger match. So
Wow.
yeah,
Wow.
but back to IMF, man. Definitely open arms, man. Loved every person that was involved,
I
that's
love those guys.
associated.
I love those IMF.
And
Love them
and
all.
and one thing I have to say, man, going there, nobody knew my name, nobody knew anything about me. Was selling pictures and everything else, man. And everybody's like, who's Tommy the Man Merriman? Like, who's that? I'm just saying, not to
I'm
toot my
having
own
trouble
horn.
believing this, Tommy the Man Merriman. I'm having big trouble believing this.
I swear to God, I swear to God. But the moment that me and Soldier GP done our thing, man, I don't
Oh
think
my
I've ever
God!
signed
I
so
watched
many
that match.
autographs.
I got to be honest, and I know people want to talk to you. I want to say hello to some people in the locker room for a second, but
Sure.
I said this to Soldier. I'm like, that's the Tommy Merriman that I want to see more on XCW TV. And I said to Soldier, by the way, I said to him off the, I'm like, you wait till you wrestle Tommy the Man Merriman. It's not going to be like these other guys you've wrestled. With all due
Right,
respect to them,
right.
wait until you see this man and his move set, just the way he looks. I mean, he's got one of the best looks. He's got one of the best moves set. I
Appreciate it,
mean,
brother. Thank you so much.
literally. I mean, what a match you guys put on. I can't say enough good things about it. In fact, I've watched it 3 times.
Well, I've watched it a few times, man. I like to,
I've watched
I
it
like
3
to,
times.
I like to critique my work. Something that anything that I can prove on, and like that. But Soldier GP, dude, you're a soldier, brother. You went out there and gave it your all, and you busted ass, man. And you came out the victor. Definitely congratulations and good luck on your next match. I didn't get the full detail on it or
Yeah,
the
he's
name or
wrestling the
anything.
Steve once again. It's on Friday, 2 weeks from Friday. So he's going to be back wrestling
Okay,
him. So it's sort of they're going to run it back. And
awesome.
yeah, they're having doing a lot of great things in the IMF right now. Those guys are doing a
Yeah,
lot of great things.
absolutely. And dude, I love the arena. I love this. That just I don't know, man. From a worker standpoint, dude, when you walk into whether it's a gym outside, man, it's just something a distinct smell. Be like, I'm home. You
It's
know what I
funny you
mean?
said that because I always do kind of equate those kind of things when you're in a venue and there's certain acoustics or there's a certain
Right.
smell. And
Absolutely.
what they've done really well at the Palo Community Center is they've built
Right.
themselves a really nice following there where they have like hundreds of people, as you saw, you were there, you wrestled,
Oh,
that
absolutely.
really are into them. I mean, they have like a really organic following from when they started. I was first told about them about 15 months ago. This is
Right.
I've told this story millions of times. The guys know this. We speak all the time. And I was told, cover the IMF. I was told, Tom, I won't tell you which owner it was. It wasn't Fletch. I can tell you that much. But I will say that the owner told me, I want you to pay attention to these guys. And then like a month later, I see them on James Taylor's podcast, and then Omen comes on here to Sportswire, and these guys have blown up. I mean, these guys are in 300-400 seat venues. They're selling them out, and they've got a massive fan base, and they're booking guys like you guys, and it's just fantastic what those guys
Absolutely.
have done.
Absolutely, man. And just for the record, me and Soldier GP, we've definitely kept in touch. And IMF Foundation, IMF, Iowa Midwest Wrestling Federation, you will definitely be seeing Tommy the Man Merriman again real soon.
Ooh. Well, let me ask you a different question. And I know I want to say hello to a couple of people in a second, but you've obviously been on the independents. You've obviously had
Absolutely.
success. Now, I don't know what, if anything, did you give any advice to, let's say, some of the guys in the IMF maybe after the show about, different things, now that they've kind of made the transition to pretty much being, for all intensive purposes, an independent wrestling company? Did they ever ask you for any advice on those things?
I wouldn't say advice, man, but feedback.
Okay, that's a
So
fair way to put it.
I mean, but like I said, I mean, and this goes for myself as well as any other worker or any independent, whether it's in the backyard or not. Do not be afraid to ask questions. Do not be afraid to ask, hey man, do you think that this would be a good idea? Or hey man, like how have you been so successful in your career? La, la, la. It's all about dedication, getting your ass up out of that bed. You don't have to hit the gym. You don't have to do push-ups. You don't have to do anything like that. Be you. If you believe in your heart, not your mind, in your heart, bro, because you have to leave your heart on that canvas, period. No matter what, no if, no ands, no buts about it. And like I said, I've done training seminars. I've been to a shit ton of training seminars myself, and, people always ask me, hey, man, how'd you get so good at promos? I'm like, to be completely honest with you, man, I record myself.
It's funny you said that. I actually, in the past, have done the same thing. Recording yourself. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
And it works. And it works, man, because
absolutely.
it's based off of your facial expressions. When I'm
Yep.
talking to the eye that never blinks, I want that person to feel like I'm talking directly to them. No if, no ands, no buts. Point straight to the point.
Let me ask
You know
you
what
a
I mean?
follow up on that. I know it's a young locker room in XCW. There's a lot of guys. Yes, there's veterans in there. You're obviously one of the more veteran types. Parsley, is one of my dearest friends I've ever met in my 5+ years. And there's some other guys that are veterans. Chris Jones is obviously a fantastic
Right.
talker. But do you give advice to some of the younger talents that maybe, you know, like an Eric Mason or a Hunter Halkin, who you mentioned, you brought him up, and guys like an Evan Phoenix, younger talents that are, Miano, now that you're with him in EBW, just ACT as well, who's still relatively a young talent. Do you give them advice in talking?
Absolutely. But I don't come directly to them first.
Okay.
You know. So I let them do what they do. So basically, meaning like if they go out there and they have a shit match, you know what I mean? They're gonna come back and be like, man, what did I do to 'em? What would you do? That's where I'll be like, hey man, so I'm gonna critique your work a little bit. Here you are. This is what you do. I will show you the proper way to do that. More efficient, more believable to the crowd, whether it's an internet
Sure.
show or anything else like that. But my advice um, to any of the people out there that want to become a wrestler or want to go straight into the indie circuit, man, it's going to take hard work. It's going to take some time, and time ain't really that precious.
No,
Because
time is really,
we don't we,
such a
we, we,
precious
we, we
commodity.
don't know we don't know when our time is.
Absolutely. But
You know
unfortunately, Benji's an example of that.
exactly.
We
I've
don't
known
know.
I've known Benji um, 20 years, um, and there was a one point in time that he was skinny. Yes, and he's I love that guy to death, man. and probably one of the worst chops that I've ever received in my life. You know, God rest you, man. Like, Benji, he's just a different breed, man. He was so dedicated to his son and making sure that he had everything that he needed. Man, he already started up a college fund, from what I heard. You know
Oh
what I mean?
wow.
And like Benji at one point worked 3 jobs.
Oh my gosh.
And that man paid for his own funeral.
Wow. Wow.
You
Well,
know,
that's actually,
and
that's not easy to do. And you went through your own personal trials and tribulations, and you understand that, better than anybody because you've been on the other side and thankfully have come back. And that's why,
yep.
We're so honored to have you. Let me say hello to some other people here. Want to say hello to the Mistress Candy, the Candy Crush, who's for now taking a break from XCW. And she says, "What's up?" Because, well, you actually defeated her. Other half, let's just say, Mr. DJ
Right,
Wilbur
right, right,
last week on the show,
right.
which was,
Yep.
I kind of blinked. You were in the ring and then you left. That was
I'm
the
still
match
here.
last week. The match was literally,
Yeah.
last week's match with DJ Wilbur, it was like, okay.
Oh yeah.
It was like the
Well,
match, literally, like I blinked. It was like I opened my eyes. The match was over.
well, yeah, yeah. That match, man. Like DJ. All right, so I'm gonna give you a little backstory about me and DJ. So when DJ Wilbur first came in for the Glory Show back in 2016, it was our first show back after like a year or two, and Josh paid Michael Damian Cole, the promoter, owner, and booker for NEW. He paid him $100 to use his ring,
Okay.
and Big John. Man, what the fuck is his name? The Midwest Monster, Jacob Johns.
Okay. Okay.
He was there, and after they helped set up the ring and everything else, Mike took off his shoes and he was like, he hits the ropes, he hits the ropes, he hits the ropes, and he's looking around. He's like, "Where's Tommy?" And I literally just got my gear on, man. Just laced up the boots. I poked my head out the curtain, and he goes, "You." And I was like, "No, no." He wanted me to run the ropes with him, man, make sure that
Oh
it was
wow.
durable, And like I said, I've had some training underneath my belt from Osiris, aka Congo Kong.
Okay. Yep.
When I started training with NEW, it wasn't very long, but I had the pleasure to share the ring with him as well. But DJ, I don't know what Mike's seen in DJ at first, but Mike personally came to me and he said, "Hey, man, listen, that kid needs some meat on his bones, and I need you to help him do it. I want him. I want him. I need you to get him ready." I was like, "I will try. I will definitely try." And I apparently that didn't really get anywhere, but
But
um,
he's had his own unique run. I mean, he's had a lot of
absolutely,
success in
absolutely,
XCW, and he's had
and
a lot of
like
success outside of
the only
XCW too.
right, right, and see what, but the thing with DJ, man, his gimmick, dude, I love his gimmick.
It's who he
You
is.
know
That's why it works.
exactly,
It's who it is.
and he's a special breed.
I love
You
DJ.
know,
I got to be honest. DJ, I love DJ. He's just awesome. DJ is just, one of the coolest people that I've gotten a chance and a success outside of XCW. I know we saw him on TV. He was very successful today against Shane Shaw, and there was some things obviously out there. He's taking a break from
right?
XCW, so we hope that he and the Candy Crush, certainly, come back to XCW and maybe you guys run it back again and hopefully have a match that's longer than like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I like not to knock on DJ and stuff, man. Like I know how it is to have a mental problem, that you're trying to figure out on your own
It's
because you
tough.
don't trust a lot of people.
You spoke
Well,
about it in one of your own old interviews, I think, with Chris Jones. Mental health is like it's a huge thing in the
it's
wrestling
it's
world.
it's a
Everyone.
big thing, man. Because if you're not all there and you're out there performing, it's all based off trust, dude. You
Absolutely.
know, and if I believe that your head's not all in it, I'm not taking that chance. Because for one, I don't like botching. For two, You know what I mean? And
Well, it's your life and somebody else's life. I mean, because like
exactly,
you go to the basketball court, right, and you shoot a basketball. Okay, you have a bad day, big deal. But if you go out in
absolutely,
a wrestling match and you have a bad day, it could not only be your own life, but your opponents. Case in point, years ago, Draws and D'Lo Brown and Draws on SmackDown. D'Lo Brown, unfortunately, does a power bomb the wrong way, and Draws is paralyzed
yeah,
for the rest of his life. So, wrestling, Stone Cold
absolutely.
and Owen Hart, SummerSlam 1997. There's a lot of instances. Wrestling, literally. Listen, one of my buddies, the Tribal Cheese, Logan, who's a huge deal in the UK, posted a video on Facebook. It's funny now, but he was wrestling in the backyard, like say 15 years ago, whatever it was, and he did a move and he broke his friend's collarbone. You never know. Kids
It's
don't try this at home.
you need the proper training, man. I mean, and the main thing is that what a lot of people are afraid to do is take a bump,
Absolutely.
protect your head, always tuck your chin. Whether it's a back body drop, tuck your chin. Like a regular snap bump, tuck your chin. It's common sense, man, dude. Listen, I would be the first to tell you I've had many concussions.
Well, your knee years back, I mean, you talked about it in one of your old interviews. I mean, your knee never really recovered.
Right. And I mean, I still have problems from time to time, man, but I know my limit and I know what my body can go through, and my body can go through a lot of shit. You know.
Well, that's why you're
Um,
Tommy the Man Merriman.
but the only advice that I can give to anybody else, man, that wants to leave not just a legacy but a name, stick with it.
Amen.
Don't let anybody tell you different.
Amen.
Do not let people do. And at the end of the day, you are the only one that can make your own decision.
I couldn't
Don't let
agree with you
anybody
more.
tell you different.
I couldn't agree with you more, and that's why I want people to be the Man Merriman on a number of platforms. Instagram, 58. TikTok, Tommy Merriman, and Facebook, Tommy the Man Merriman, because Tommy was just on TV. He literally transported from the St. Paul's gym right to the back to come on to Sportswire after what a night for EBW. This might have been the most successful night for EBW in a decade, because think about it. Miano Diaz has got the world championship. You got James Cerebro and Brady Branson with the tag team championships. You've got also, listen, Tommy the Man Merriman has had 3 consecutive wins in a row over Richard DJ Wahlberg and Hunter Halkin. You've got, I mean, who knows? I don't even know what to say on Jackson Law, but the point is EBW is back. They are bigger, better, and better than ever, and nobody in XCW seems to be able to stop them, and that's why I want people to follow Tommy Merriman on all these great platforms. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters here. Follow our friends over at XCW1 YouTube, XC Wrestling 1, Facebook, XCW Shelbyville, XC_Shelbyville, XCW_Shelbyville on Instagram. Check them out on Twitter as well, and go out and watch Glory. It just took place. Tommy the Man Merriman was extremely successful there. And also, let me get to some more comments here, because a lot of people want to talk to you. Now I just realized I just missed a bunch of comments. That hurt James Taylor's feelings that you didn't know him. Well, just kidding. Well, he's Tommy the Man Merriman. He's not going to know everybody. I mean, he's Tommy
not
the
not
Man
not
Merriman.
not at first, man. But I would definitely like to.
I'm surprised he remembers my name at this point. I mean,
Well, I mean, Tom Price, man, or Bryce, man. Like, don't get it twisted. We're literally right there. I'm looking. No, I'm just kidding. No,
I'm
but
working on my stand-up comedy in case this doesn't work out.
yeah, I can see a career in that. Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
I've tried.
But Omen Black, man, definitely Taylor's. Hey, I'm so sorry, man. But the next time that I like to come up to IMF, man, I definitely would like to sit with everybody, man, after the show, man, and just get to know you guys.
I would love to see you with those guys back in the IMF. I love all those guys. Levi McDaniel, Dirty, Soldier, Omen. I mean, I just love all the guys there. Mephisto, Ace Diamond, everybody in that company. They all
absolutely.
They all want to do it for the right reasons. It's almost like they all want to win. And I think that's what's cool about those guys. That, some companies you go to, and last time I'm on the air, we're talking about the ugly head of politics. But these guys, they limit it as much as possible because they really want to succeed. And I think that's why that company has done as well as it has, and that's why Omen and Soldier and Dirty, we've seen them on XCW TV so many times. We've seen them in different ways.
Absolutely.
And I think it shows that their hunger and their work ethic speaks for itself. But CJ Black says he wants a match with you, and he basically says he wants me to do my best James Taylor impression and give me a hell yeah. So maybe I'll give him a hell yeah. I mean,
hell yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe even CJ Black one day. Who
You
knows?
know, well, buddy, book it up, man. Absolutely. I would definitely love to.
I would love to see it. And I want to say hello to one of my buddies, Michael Christian, whose former stepfather is Festus Davis, who we just saw on TV not too long ago. He says, absolutely love you, Tommy. Got to deal with some stuff soon. I want to say, Michael, anything you need, you just let me know. You message me anytime. I'm here for you. You got
Michael, thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
Love Michael Christian. And Michael was very successful because he defeated Festus in Festus's last match. So there you go. Right. Speaking of Levi McDaniel, what's up, guys? I think you just answered that question about being back in the IMF.
Absolutely. I would definitely love to be back at IMF, man, at the Playo Iowa Center, man. And, it's just like with those guys, man, like, dude, they didn't even hesitate to come up to me or anything like that. They're like, hey, man, it is a pleasure to meet you. I'm like, man, likewise, man. I definitely appreciate it. But the one thing that I have to say about IMF, dude, the fans.
I know.
I loved the fans, man, and they were just eating it up, dude. And we were just milking it away, dude. It was great.
I know.
It was absolutely amazing.
About their shows, we love the fans in the St. Paul's Gym, but there's something electric there at the Palo Community Center. I mean, it's like you're almost in like a GCW type of show there. You're in, you got
right, absolutely,
it's really intense.
Absolutely.
Like, really, it's got a certain vibe to it, and I think that's why the guys have been so successful. And I'll say this: it was a pleasure getting a good job, man, from the man after I went to war with Damian Saint. He appreciated it.
That was a wild match, man.
And right now he's injured still.
And Omen, dude, definitely, brother. I hope your arm's good or your elbow's good. I heard that you got injured during the match. And to Damian Saint, I actually had a chance to speak with him briefly, and he's like, yeah, he's good. He goes, hey, man, looking forward to it. And I was like, oh, really? But yeah, man, I think me and Damian could definitely make some magic, along with anybody else that's involved with IMF. You know what I mean? But sky's the limit, dude. You know what I mean? You never know what you're capable of until you do it.
I couldn't agree with you more on that. And Tommy gave me great feedback. We will have to have a conversation Saturday if you get time. I think he's
absolutely
to something. I know what that is. We'll leave that at that. Most importantly, it was an honor. Jay, Tommy, Parsley, DJ, and Hunter are the top talents right now in XCW, in my opinion. Those are who he thinks.
Appreciate it, brother. Thank you, Omen.
DJ is an asterisk because DJ is taking a break from the company, so that's just a asterisk. And we wish DJ very well. If I messaged DJ not too long ago. And also, he wants to mention Jacob Collins, who had some success, by the way, in the XCW encounters. Jacob Collins really come a long way, Jacob Collins, by the way. You have any impressions of Jacob Collins? You get a chance to speak with him during encounters?
No, I never really got a chance to speak with him. I definitely introduced myself, and he introduced himself back. But I'm not really familiar with his work. But I'll definitely look him up.
A young up-and-comer, works for ROEW, done some work in CBW, certainly Jackson's promotion. He's really come a long way. He's probably been in the ring for about a year, I would say, maybe a little more than that. But really
just dipping the toes in. That's all he's doing. That's good, man. That's all it takes.
I want to say hello, but maybe not give congratulations to the man that lost the XCW championship not too long ago, Mr. ACT. Do you want to say hello to him? Do you not want to say hello to him? Yeah, it's tough. I know. Tough to say anything to ACT. I know. Certainly, the knowledge.
I'm just kidding. All love, man. All love.
I would have believed you. You're Tommy the Man Merriman. I would have definitely believed you. But yeah, It looks like the luck has run out for ACT as XCW champion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that you never count somebody out, man. Because you never know what they have up their sleeve. Maybe there could be
grinded to get to the title because he had the feud with Corey Lee, and he obviously had that history at Blackheart, and he takes the title from Brady, and he Chris Jones put everything through the kitchen sink to get to ACT, and Chris Jones could even beat ACT. I mean, like ACT give it up for ACT for a second, to break the fourth wall, because he did a phenomenal job as champion.
Absolutely,
You guys
dude. I
put
mean,
Edwards through the ringer.
yeah, no, ACT man. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm the man that is not fake.
Oh, I
That
know
will
that.
tell you how it is.
I know that. That I
My
know.
first my first impression of Jaden Jones, aka ACT. Um, I was like, what the hell is he doing here?
Is he really
Like
from Harvard?
yeah, he looks a little fresh. Is he a writer? You know what I mean? Like, but the first time I ever seen him wrestle, man, he definitely needed a lot of work, man. But I seen the passion behind it. That
And he was
will
a
tell
fan of
you
XCW that got involved. He was a fan. He watched the show,
absolutely,
and then he just kind
absolutely,
of reached out to the company, and the
and I'm
rest
glad
is
he did.
history. Yeah, me too.
I'm definitely glad he did, man, because like he's one hell of a storyteller, and his promo skills are out of this world. You know what I mean? Like he can cut a promo like no other. And
And does a better
my
job hosting at things than I do, because he's the host of the Rundown.
right, right, yeah, and and he does so much for the show, man. Like, definitely kudos to ACT. And dude, I'm looking to see what the future for XCW has for you. You know
No
what I mean?
question
Like,
about
I
that.
mean,
Absolutely.
you've definitely accomplished a lot of stuff more than me that I could when I first got in.
I'm
And
saying a lot from you, Tommy the Man Merriman.
yeah, it's definitely. I mean, dude, I sucked at first, man. Like,
I
I'm
have
not
watched
gonna
some
lie
of
to
the.
you.
I actually did watch some of the tape, so I mean, it's still better
Yeah,
than what I would have done
yeah.
in the ring.
But like, I mean, it's just like the evolution of XCW from then and now is
For sure.
absolutely mind blowing. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And for us getting out of state workers, and different people to come and travel to get to know. I consider anybody that's involved in XCW family. I do consider IMF family for welcoming me with open arms. And
Love
like I
that.
said, love the time that I spent there, man.
And you
Definitely
know
a
what
good
I
group
said
of
last
guys.
night on the show, Tommy? We were with D'Angelo from another traveling talent. I said to me, we're all in the same. I said, we got to stop killing each other in the backyard scene. We got to stop killing each other in the underground. We're all on the same team. We're all doing it
Absolutely.
for the same reason. We love this, but we got to stop with this stuff. It's really everybody is here for the same reason. We're not getting rich off this. We're doing it because we love this sport of wrestling.
I love the
I learned
entertainment.
about it last night. I
Exactly.
learned
And I'm not trying to get famous. I'm not,
You
I'm
are
just a
famous
regular
already.
guy.
Hall of Fame. Already.
I'm just a guy from Washington, Missouri, man.
What's Washington, Missouri like? I always keep thinking. Yeah, I've been wanting to ask you, what is Washington, Missouri like? Because it's Washington, but it's in Missouri. I just always found that
No,
fascinating.
I mean they're I technically live in Shelby County right now, and Tennessee has a Shelby County. I'm pretty
Wow.
sure every state has a Shelby County. So Washington, Missouri is technically Union County.
Oh, okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, and I went down there to visit family not too long ago, and the doctor that that brought me into this world
Oh, wow.
is still a doctor,
Oh, my goodness.
and the dude is 7 foot tall, literally, and it blew my mind, man. But
Seven
but like I
foot
said,
tall? Wow. Okay.
dude, he is tall as hell.
One of my buddies is
Um,
6'5" who played basketball. Well, two of my buddies, and they would be short compared to that.
mm. I mean, my own father, my stepfather, but I mean, he's raised me since I was like 4, but he's 6'5",
Okay.
and at the time of my mom's passing, he weighed like 600 some odd pounds,
Wow,
and
that's like
then
five of me.
yeah, went
And
into a
like
Great
eight of
Depression,
DJs,
man.
by the way. That's like 8 DJ Wolf.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, he's like what soaking wet with boots, like 95 pounds or some shit like that. Uh,
Pretty
but
much.
yeah, no, I mean, like I'm not afraid to take anything. I'm not afraid to do anything. I'm not afraid to do a move. I'm not afraid to go through anything at all.
No, you've done that throughout your career. All the hardcore matches, the Inferno matches, the stuff you put your body through with Jackson last year. I mean, when you were the
Yeah,
champion, I mean, you have done. Listen, there's no question that and I'm saying this, and I have no problem saying it. You have really done pretty much every type of match there is out there.
Right. Yeah.
You
No.
won pretty much.
I've been through so much, man. In my 20-year span, I'm on 7 different professional wrestling DVDs. I've been to IW. I mean, even though they're not around anymore because Ian Rotten is just rotten.
And ICW,
You
you were
know,
also a big part of.
ICW Pro. Yes, yes. I was in a fatal 4-way matchup for their number one contendership for their U.S. title, and that was probably one of the best rings I've ever been in. It's a 20 by 20, dude, just floating on clouds.
Oh my God.
Like, dude, that was just one of the awesomest experiences that I've ever had. And then, I've went so far. I was one of the executioners for All Star Pro Wrestling out of Shelbyville, Indiana.
Yep, I heard of All
And
Star Pro Wrestling. Yes, I have.
yeah, 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 they're no longer around, I
Yep.
guess. Um, but I did want to bring that up, man. So like, it's amazing to me how some pro promotions, are opening up their doors for the first time. They get, a few people here, and then they start getting crowds and they start getting sold out shows, and then they just disappear. XCW has always been around. If you look on the Wikipedia for independent wrestling, dude, we're in the top 5 on Wikipedia. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, I think that if you looked at companies in the backyard, the underground, the semi pro, as Fletch calls it, XCW has stood the test of time. There's no
Absolutely.
question that no matter what you may think of different people and different things, XCW's contribution to the sport of wrestling is, I mean, unmatched. I mean, there's a lot of companies that come onto Sportswire already, whether it's in the pro, the
Absolutely.
backyard, the underground, but XCW's been here. I even said it, I think when Chris Jones, we inducted him into the Hall of Fame. And if you think about XCW started, if you go back in time, it actually started when the first term of George W. Bush is the president. So if you think about it from presidents,
I mean,
think about it.
yeah.
We went from two terms of Bush, 2 terms of Obama, 1 term from Trump, 1 term from Biden so far. That's how long XCW has been around. When you really think back and say, wow, you know what? That's a long time. That really shows you that XCW, that it's kind of,
I'm gonna put it this way. XCW started a year after 9/11.
2003. Yep.
Oh well,
2003.
technically 2002, but it didn't hit, and the recordings didn't start until about 2003.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, man. Like, and to anybody that wants to be involved with XCW or IMF or CBW or any organization, man, these guys will welcome you with open arms.
Couldn't agree
They
with you
will
more.
teach you their ways. You know what I'm saying? And do not be afraid. If you don't belong somewhere, you will belong there. You will belong here. You will belong here, and you won't feel just like an individual, man. You'll feel like family.
Couldn't agree with you more. I want to get to some more people here. Someone I called a friend, I'll be dealing with him. Hopefully, how Tommy taught me. Hopefully, I'm not that friend, Michael. Hopefully, I can still be friends with you. That's all I want to say because I like to be friends with everybody. Uh,
Absolutely.
Soldier GP says hello. I have a feeling we'll be hearing more from the
What's
popular
up,
heel
soldier?
monster. Don't worry, boys. My arm will be fine for April 5th when I find in the ring with Craven Rage to give him 15 minutes of fame and give him his best match. For me, it'll be just another day. Fair enough.
No,
I,
another
I,
day in the office.
I got to ask you, though, Justin Parsley, you've obviously been in the ring with him recently, and Justin's become one of my favorites. You have any funny Justin Parsley stories?
Man. All
Anything
right.
you can say
So,
on air. Don't say anything.
um,
Anything that you can say, don't say it. Because at this point, if there's anything funny, because Justin is one of my all-time favorites.
so me and Justin, man, like we're actually really good friends
Yes,
outside of XCW,
that I
and
know. That I know.
one hell of a DJ, man. I'll tell you that.
I know about
Uh,
Kendall's Tavern. Got to give Kendall's
yeah,
Tavern.
absolutely,
I heard they
absolutely,
they
man.
go to the locker room sometimes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, it was really good. But Justin, man, he uh, he had a company called UIW, and it was at the time where Justin and Joss were just at each other's necks, dude. And it was me, Brandon Hobbs, Corey Lee,
Were you in
Chris
I
Jones.
believe Brandon Hobbs, you have one of your first pro matches, if I'm not mistaken, right? Brandon Power.
Yeah, we went down to IWA Mid South, I believe in 2016, and or 2000. Yeah, I believe it was 2016, and we went for a tryout show down there, man. And dude, that crowd was so hard to work over, man, because they're so used to bloodshed and just gory stuff, man. And yeah, Brandon, we talked about the match for like 2 hours, and then the moment we get out there, we're killing it. We're killing it. Whole match is a banger. Then here comes the ending. I twist one way, he twists the other. He does Cody Rhodes' finisher, and yeah, it was definitely a miscommunication. Definitely got booed out. I think that was the last and only time I've ever been booed out of an arena. You know,
Wow.
yeah. And at that moment, I made a vow to myself that I will be better than I have ever been before. And like I've come to terms with, I'm not going to do this forever. You know,
Nobody can. I mean, Ric Flair, has retired, unretired so many times. It's almost like, is he going to die in a
Woo.
ring at this point? I don't know. Seriously.
Yeah, probably, but kudos to Ric Flair, man, for
Absolutely.
still, sticking with
Sure.
it. And, it's one of my favorites, as
Absolutely.
one of the dirtiest players in the game. You know what I
Well,
mean?
EBW is pretty dirty right now in the world of XCW right now. You guys are on top. I
Well,
mean,
we're not dirty, man. We're just honest. You know what I'm
oh,
saying?
so
Like
so you guys have been honest throughout this whole time.
I, I wouldn't say that. I am, at least. I don't know about the other guys.
Okay, that's fair. I can respect that. Obviously, James, certainly Luke, Brady, Miano, and Chris. Well, Chris has been here a few times, so I can certainly say Chris can speak for himself on that. The other guys, obviously that,
Right.
we'll see. And Michael said he's having a problem with Justin. We hope that works out. And I am always sorry to hear those things, but we'll certainly see when it comes to that. But, I wanted to ask you something, and I know it was kind of brought up on XCW TV this past summer with your feud with Jackson Law and everything that went on. How did you overcome jail, and how did you overcome bankruptcy, and all those things? Because for a lot of people, you talked a lot about mental health, and mental
Yeah.
health is a huge deal. A lot of guys come and I talk to them, and I talk to people all through backgrounds and walks of life, and I always try to understand people. I always try to learn from people, because I don't know what somebody goes through. But how did you overcome those experiences that you went through in jail and bankruptcy and divorce?
Um,
How did you do it?
well, it's just being headstrong, man. I'm just not looking after, my needs or, you know, um, just looking out for myself, man. I have three beautiful, amazing kids that, need
Absolutely.
me
Well, we've
on
seen
the
them as part
outside.
of the TV
Yeah.
storylines.
Yeah.
And by the way, is one of them still Chris Jones' biggest fan?
That I don't know. Yeah, he's actually laying down right now.
No, we don't want to bother him. We've only got another half hour. Don't want to bother the kid too much longer.
but like you know, like Brandon, like when the storyline to where he kidnapped my son and everything else, man. And I actually had cops come to my house, dude, because I cut a promo on my wrestling fan page stating that, hey guys, listen, I haven't had any updates on Brantley. His abductor is Brandon Hardcore Hobbs. I said, if you guys see him about, man, just give me a call or give Stephanie a call or, something like that. Well, I had an officer come to the door. Is your son missing? And I was like, no. And he walked up right behind me. I said, sir, he's right here. He goes, well, we've been getting some calls stating that somebody kidnapped your son. And I was like, sir, I said, that is all story based. I said, as you can see, he's right here, absolutely fine with his family. I had to take the video down because a lot of people thought it was real.
Wow.
But overcoming the jail situation, man, is, I mean, I haven't had an easy life, but after I lost my mom,
Sorry about that.
I definitely went downhill. And the guy that took her life is out free. And with my mental state like that, I know that man is not that retarded I'm sorry, that's a mean word. I don't care.
You're Tommy the Man Merriman. I'm not going to
Yeah,
correct
no.
you. You're Tommy the Man Merriman.
But like he's free, still breathing, which he shouldn't. But that's a different story. As long as my kids are safe, you know, that's all that matters to
It's
me.
not easy, jail. Not everybody goes to jail. I mean, I've never been to jail, and obviously, I don't wish and hope people go to jail, but that's a make or
Right,
break moment. You could have easily. I could not be talking to you right now, but you're here,
right.
and you
Yeah.
made a life for yourself, and you've got this family, and you've become really successful in the ring, and and I just thought in a lot of ways that's to me also a true success story. You overcame the odds. People all the time talk about in baseball, Darryl Strawberry and Doc Gooden here in New
Right.
York. They've overcome all
Well,
these
the
things.
the uh
You did it
the
too.
only thing that right, yeah, the only thing that I can say, man, is that your past doesn't define the person that you are.
Absolutely.
It's what
I do agree with that.
it's what you learn from it, so you don't make those same mistakes. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna do a famous quote from Kung Fu Panda. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. That's why they say to live in the moment, like today. It's a gift. That's why it's called the present.
Well, it's like we said, unfortunately with Benji, we don't have him here, and
Right.
there's the guarantee of life is not promised, and everybody
Yeah.
goes through different things, and obviously that we're here with Tommy the Man Merriman. If you want to follow him on all of our platforms, please do so here. And of course, Tommy was extremely successful at the unofficial kickoff or official kickoff, depending on how you see it, of the 21st season of XCW as EBW reigned supreme. It was a clean sweep for the most part of
Absolutely.
EBW, and EBW looks like they're going to be back on top for decades to come after what we saw from the gang. And Tommy's a huge part of it. He's kind of the straw that stirs the drink, and he has certainly done it all in XPW, four-time champion of the world, three-time international champion, hardcore champion. The man has done it all. He is the man. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, and in about 55 minutes or so, we will hear from the Atomic Titan to be inducted into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. But, speaking of things, Tommy, I promised you, I got something for you, Tommy, because I don't come empty-handed on Sportswire Radio. Tommy,
Oh,
I have been so wanting you to come on. We spoke first about this. In fact, I could timestamp it. It was more than 7 months ago. 7 months I've been waiting for
yeah.
this moment. And that's why I had something for you. For those that are listening and watching. Now, I would love to present this on the screen if you would allow me to. Now, I know you're obviously Tommy the Man Merriman. You've got many fans out there, many followers. Maybe you don't want me to do it, but I would like to present to you something sort of in recognition for all
Okay.
that you've done in this great sport, only if you'd insist.
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
appreciate that. I'm so glad that you said yes. There's actually one person that actually said no, and I was like, "What do you mean no?" But I'm glad that you agreed.
Don't do it, Bryce. Don't. No. No. I'm good, brother. Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to do it anyway because I wanted to say, Tommy Merriman, you've officially been acknowledged forever on Sportswire Radio as the man of Sportswire Radio because you have been a man in this sport. I wanted you to have this. We'll certainly give this to you as a proclamation on this date with our logo, My John Hancock, that you are
Thank you so much.
officially the man of Sportswire Radio. And I was thinking about this. I'm like, how can I celebrate Tommy Merriman without until the end of the show asking him if he wants to be in the Hall of Fame? Because I already talked to you about this off the air,
Right.
and you were like, I don't know yet if I want to be inducted, but I'm like, you know what? Let me give him something first, so that way it can show that he is definitely
Right.
always appreciated on Sportswire Radio, and that he is the man of Sportswire Radio. So, Tommy, congratulations, and I hope that you would take this token of appreciation.
Hey, the Rev Tom. Thank you so much, man. And I'm definitely gonna, take that and run with it. Thank you so much. And as we talked about, the Sportswire Hall of Fame. I'm
Yes.
the type of man. I'm the type of man that I like to earn the things that I get and keep.
Sure.
And this is not the last time that you guys are going to see
No, no,
Tommy the
no.
Man Merriman
Oh, listen.
with the Reverend Tom Bryce.
No,
You know
that's
what I
for
mean?
sure. I mean, you obviously are welcome anytime. You are Tommy the Merriman. I want to say, I always say this: anybody from XCW is welcome to come on. I love
Absolutely.
honestly almost all the guys in the locker room. I don't think there's anybody I haven't met that I haven't liked in XCW, and I love the product, and I love talking XCW. And, we always want to support XCW and follow XCW on all these great platforms, and especially catch Glory, because Glory kicked the season off here in the St. Paul's gym. There's going to be a lot more action ahead, and EBW is going to have a lot to say. You're going to want to stay tuned for that here. Also, a big rundown tomorrow. Rundown's going to be on, I think, at 4:30 p.m. Eastern time.
4:30.
So
Yep.
check that all. And we've got a little while longer with Tommy the Man Merriman. And Tommy, I wanted to ask you, and what did it mean to you to be inducted into the XCW Hall of Fame?
Oh man. All right. So first off, and I'm still gonna tell Corey Lee that he cheated. He came in back in '09, got into the Hall of Fame before me
Corey was here on Sportswire. Yep.
by one vote. By one vote, which is definitely rigged till this day. But no, it was just an honor, man, because of everything that I've accomplished in XCW, everything that I've been put through in XCW, man, and all the faces that's come and go, and to be recognized as the man, you know, um, it was an extreme honor, man. And Benji was there when I got inducted, and and I was inducted in 2017. I actually won 6 awards that night. Um, and I broke my leg, and was out for.
Would you have traded the awards for an unbroken leg? It's a good
No,
question, right?
no,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no, no, no. I definitely would, man. And thanks to Brandon Hobbs, I'm still healed. I didn't have to have surgery or nothing like that. It was from what the doctor said, it was like a clean but bad break. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, doc? You know, like, am I going to be able to wrestle again or what? He goes, oh yeah, absolutely, and just stay off your leg. And I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks, maybe about a month later, I'm in the ring giving Brandon Hardcore Hobbs an F5 with a boot. And but no, it was definitely a tremendous experience, man. Something that I'll never forget, man, because XCW is not just a way of life, man. It's the way that business should be, and XCW will always be my family after I'm long dead and gone. You know what I mean? I just know that I've done so much for XCW, and XCW has done so much for me. It's a mutual respect, and I will be forever grateful for Josh in creating the man.
Listen, and we love Fletch on Sportswire. We love the company, and I obviously, I'm really looking forward to the season kicking off, and that kind of transitions to me. I know I ask this all the time to wrestlers, but especially with the season just starting officially now, like, what is your goals in 2024? It could be an XCW on behalf of EBW, whatever it is, but what are your goals this year?
My goals this year now, is it just for XCW or just
Could be whatever you want. You're Tommy the Man Merriman.
Well, I would. My goals is to definitely to travel to different states, and get our brand out there as well as my name, and to and one of my goals is to have my son officially be a member of JWF.
Oh,
So
and you've obviously wrestled Jacoby. I mean, you've obviously.
I've wrestled my son too, so and got my butt kicked. So yeah.
What Jacoby is almost like, I think he's like the most known Fletcher, as crazy as
The little dude is like a Terminator, man. You can't put him down.
Listen, I mean, how about him at award show? I mean, he was literally like, oh my goodness.
Man, he has a little mouth. You know what I mean? He's like, thanks all to me, but none of you guys suck. And I was like, oh, well,
You better be treading lightly, because in like 10 years, like, he's gonna probably be like the owner of XPW.
I guarantee he probably is. That kid's really bright, man. He has so many wrestling figures in his room, dude. It doesn't matter where you point to one. He knows the names, the move sets. Like, dude, this kid is probably even a bigger wrestling fan than Josh.
Well,
and
you
Josh
remember, well, look at it this way. Right now, Fletch kind of started it on his own. Jacoby
Right.
was born into it.
Right.
That's the difference. Jacoby was
Right.
born into this, so it's like a whole. He's almost now.
It's like the only world he knows, right?
The only world he knows, and he's almost kind of like the backyard underground wrestling version of a McMahon or a Rhodes or a Flair. I mean, that's kind of
Yeah, man. But Jacoby, man, dude, and I mean, I'm not trying to toot his horn or nothing, man. But like, knowing that his dad is the promoter, booker, and owner, um, or I'm sorry, co-founder of XCW. Uh, I mean, that kid has a lot of knowledge, man. And I hate to say it, dude, but he's. I say in the next year or two, he's going to be better than half the roster.
Well, you know what? I think his just overall what he's absorbed. You always talk
Absolutely.
about in a locker room how much knowledge do you absorb. It's like almost being a sponge and just like soaking it all in. I mean, he was born out of Mrs. Fletcher's womb, literally into wrestling.
Right.
I'm gonna put it in the nicest
Bro,
way
he popped out giving an RKO. You know what I'm saying?
exactly. That's how I was put it like the
Right.
nicest way. But
Right.
I think that it's so interesting that you spoke about your son. Do you see your son also going into the to the wrestling world like you do? I mean, do you want him
Man,
to?
he was born into it as well. I've got video clips of them as babies coming out, and even Benji was a part of it.
Oh wow.
And everybody's slapping the mats, man, welcoming my kid to the XCW family. And then after they were welcomed, they end up kicking my ass. So it was great. It was
Wow.
definitely a great experience, man. And for my son to, I don't want him to carry on my legacy. I want him to create his own.
But you
You know, I,
definitely would like to see him in the ring and have a pro career like you, obviously.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, if that's what he wants to do, he doesn't have to follow in my footsteps, man. And like I said, he's 9 years old, and he understands and adapts really quick. And he gets the concept of the business, man. And if he's wanting to become a professional wrestler, and if that's something that he's wanting to accomplish in the future, absolutely, I would definitely help him, get to that peak. But sky's the limit from there. I said, buddy, I give you your wings. It's time for you to fly.
But I tell you what is good about XCW. There's a lot of families with kids that are a part
Absolutely.
of the company. You see, I don't want to say names, but there are obviously different wrestlers that have kids, and you see them a lot
Right.
in the shows.
Absolutely.
And I think what's great is that there's a family atmosphere in XCW, which I think shows that the company wants to be, open-minded and allowing families to take part in the action and be a part of it. And I think that shows why the company is a true success story. I have to ask you.
And
Okay, jump in.
no, I'm so sorry. And I would consider XCW an opportunity for anybody that wants to get to step their foot into the wrestling business. Like we said before, they will definitely open you up with open arms, and it's not hard to do what we do.
Really?
It just takes years.
Well,
It
that's
takes
yeah.
conditioning,
I was gonna say.
and
Okay, that's very good.
yeah,
Okay, I was like, wait a minute.
but as long as it doesn't matter if you fail and you keep failing and failing and failing. You coming to train at every training session, you coming to help put up and tear down, just like a lot of the guys do.
Oh, we see
You'll
it all
make it.
the time in the documentaries where we see everybody comes early to the house and you guys set the ring up when you guys are in the yard. You guys come at 7 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, right? You think about a Saturday, people, they want to be in bed till 11, 12 o'clock and, they want to just, sit on the couch all day in a weekend. No, you guys
Absolutely.
are up early. You guys are up and you guys don't get home until midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning because you guys taped. You guys had to set the ring up, tear the ring down,
Right.
and you guys do it, 2 times a month. I mean, that
Right.
shows you the dedication that this locker room has to this sport, and you guys do it for the right reasons, for the love of wrestling. And that's why I'll always be about
Absolutely.
all wrestling matters, and I'll support everybody because I truly believe in that. I have to ask you a funny question. You're gonna probably chuckle when I ask it to you. Do you ever look back in the beginning of your career and say, "Boy, this is what I look like without tattoos"?
Oh my God, yeah. so, um, so yeah, man, I was like, dude, I don't even look the same.
I watched a video of you a
My
couple
cheeks
days
were
ago.
sunk in, man.
I know
Like,
I
dude, it
watched a
was
video of you a couple days ago, and I'm like, wait a minute. I've known this guy for like a
right,
year.
right,
Who is he?
right. Yeah, no, I've actually looked back a few times on my debut show for XCW, man, and it was against Rob Slater, which is part of the Essential One, Rob Slater, the ones. And I look back to that, man, and I was like, dude, for one, I was horrible. For two, I looked disgusting, and for three, I looked like a naked mole rat without tattoos, dude. Like,
Well, I'm not going to
and
say those things. You're Tommy the Man Merriman, so I'm not going to.
I appreciate it, man. But like I
Well,
said, like it's definitely been a journey. Definitely, there's a lot more things to come for the man than what people think. And I definitely want to travel. I'm definitely going to come back to IMF, man. And thank you guys again for welcoming me with open arms. And to anybody that wants a piece of the man, no, I'm just kidding.
no, I've been
But
a lot of people say Andrew Steele wanted to wrestle you. You spoke about obviously situations, outside of XCW. We saw you
right,
in the feud with Richard Regal, another guy, pro wrestler. You had a war with him.
man, Richard Regal, man, is a phenomenal worker, dude.
Knows how to
Amazing
work a
talent,
crowd.
man.
What I took away from
Definitely
that
works
match
the
with
crowd.
him, ring psychology. That's what I took away
Right.
from that, ring psychology.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, the train wrestling, I haven't done train wrestling since the last time that I think that I wrestled Benji, 1A7 Genocide.
Yep.
And, it like with us train wrestling, I felt a lot closer to him. I felt like Benji was there with me in that match, man. He's like, you can do this, man. Get it done. I'm right here with you, and, there are days that I think about Benji, man, and working with Regal was definitely one of those times.
Absolutely, no, definitely. We'll certainly hope to see more of him in the future. And I want to ask you a couple of more final questions here before I close this. First of all, I got to ask you. Now, Jackson Law, man, you've got a lot of history with. He's in our Hall of Fame,
Mhm.
but he's the EBW champion now. Now, I don't know where he lies with EBW. I know it's like you're not the leader of EBW, but what's your impressions of that now? Is he on the same page? Is he not on the same page? I'm still perplexed of where you
Jackson Law is a hit and miss, just like his sexuality. You know,
are.
um,
um, I'm a family
uh,
show, but I'm going to say you can say whatever you want, Tommy Merriman. I am not going anywhere with that.
but I like the guy. I love his gimmick, man. Law of the land. I really do not know, man.
You haven't had that question answered yet, still.
Yeah. I really don't know much about it. You know what I mean? Is that when he got the EBW title, man, it threw me off. I was like,
So did I. So did I. Because we were
and
all
then and then
wondering,
and then,
okay,
and then he's starting to wear the EBW colors, and I'm like, well, nobody's presented you a shirt yet, so why are you representing this?
I guess
You know,
because he's got the EBW title, does that automatically grandfather him in?
I mean, females like to match too. You know, like
Um, you're Tommy the Man Merriman. I'm going to say no comment. I obviously have Law in my
right?
Hall of Fame, and I
No,
want to
but
stay.
but
I want to remain
but
friendly with Law at this point. I don't want
all
to remain not friendly.
all jokes aside, Jackson Law, he's one hell of a worker.
For sure. He did
And
some stuff
definitely
tonight, by the way. I mean, he did the running splash. He did the,
right, right.
he was
He's
open right tonight.
he's coming out of his non-comfort zone, if that makes any sense, man.
Yeah,
Like
he
he's
spoke about that the first time he was here, and we spoke about you, actually. Yeah, he spoke a
you
lot
know,
about that.
he's starting to spread his wings a little bit more, being open for other opportunities, man, or open for any type of match ideas or what they're wanting to do. He's more open minded now than I think than what he was when he first got into XCW, and that's all it is, man. It's about adapting,
I agree.
and overcoming.
I totally agree. Let me get to a couple of comments from Michael before I ask you two more questions. Tommy is the man, one of the first who I knew I was going to be a dad, and I always appreciate him
Yeah.
reaching out. I'm really very, very good to hear that, Michael, and I always love hearing from you. Tommy, again, love you, man. Definitely always have my ears open around you. And I want to say a little,
Thank you,
one of my
brother.
other favorite people that we actually honored and gave him a day, but we made you the man of Sportswire. I want him to see that. The former New Age champion, the destructive Jack Delta, who I actually own a Jack Delta XCW show. My man Merriman, much love and respect. One of the best.
Jack Delton, brother. It is. Hey, listen, Jack. I've definitely seen you work, man. I see the way you milk the crowd.
If you saw a Tommy Merriman, that means he's definitely big.
Yeah, no, and I definitely, I would, when the time's right, I would definitely like to, work with Jack Delta, man, and just tear the house down. So, like I said, I have a lot of things in mind for my future in the business, not just a part of XCW, but you never know, maybe part of something else. But
But I
definitely,
think
Jack Delta is definitely one
I
of the
think
guys that I'd definitely love to face.
But I think Jack winning the New Age title, and I think from what we saw, obviously the match he had with Mason,
Right.
but I feel like that Jack, there's definitely a possibility of him coming back into XCW. I think that the way we saw
Definitely,
encounters, that there's
definitely,
definitely a possibility that Jack would be back in XCW for sure. We could definitely see that,
absolutely,
you know. But I did want to ask, I wanted to ask because I always ask this question to so many people like yourself, and I've had so many people on. I want to ask you the same question. You have had a decorated career, but is there one or two moments in your career, it could be anywhere, anything you've done, that stand out most?
honestly, man, as being one of the best to ever do it, and still continue to do it even after 20 years. Um, but if anything that stands out, and wrestling wise, is that I was a double champion at the same time, and I've never had the pleasure to do that before. I've never held two titles at once before. When I beat In Your Face, I want to say 2023.
All right, because you were world champion at the
Yep,
in
yep,
23. You were champion
yep,
in.
yep. And I think that was probably one of the best moments of my life, and definitely stands out to me. And that match was an absolute banger, man. And I didn't expect to make Brady bleed that much, but I took two showers that day.
No, you're Tommy Merriman. I am not going to say anything that's going to disagree with that, but being a double champion is a very, very cool feat, and I could certainly see that you'd like to do it again. How I Met Tommy was awesome. I do hope you remember 2019. I thank you for that, Tommy.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, absolutely, man.
Very cool. It's definitely, we hope to see more of Tommy in the future. Of course, Tommy is a 4-time XCW champion. I got one more question for you, one more fun question for you.
All right.
Is Rob Slater really as tall as a glass of water?
No comment.
Okay.
No.
I was trying to at least, I wanted to at least humor you with some of these questions. Like,
Yeah,
I know,
yeah. No,
I know
that's
you've been local schools before. I know you've done some of these, but I'm like, you know what? Let
right.
me at least, I'm going to give him, yes.
Rob Slater's a character, man. But for him to come back after having a hiatus for so long and coming back into the business, man, like he never left,
Yeah.
and only getting better. Definitely kudos to him, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, we definitely learned a lot from Tommy the Man Merriman, and the future of EBW looks to be as strong as it's ever been.
Promising.
And I
Promising.
tell you what, you guys look like this year. I mean, I would certainly want to tread lightly, especially after what we saw, even
Right.
with the likes of Hunter Halkin, who Tommy the Man Merriman defeated. His own best friend Eric Mason gave him a dose of his own medicine, and I wouldn't want to be Hunter Halkin right now. I mean, I would certainly not want to be him. And
I wonder how mad Corey Lee is, man. Like,
well, he was so mad that the man he wrestled and feuded with throughout the summer, he seems to be aligned with. So that tells you how mad that Corey Lee was with, especially after what he was trying to do. And you saw it firsthand because you just wrestled Hunter Halpin. You were just there in the St. Paul's gym. And I know obviously you're backstage. We want to obviously let you to go home. You gotta go home to your family. Obviously, I know you hear it. Thank you for coming backstage. I know you want to go celebrate with your EBW partners and Miano Diaz. Congratulations to him on winning the EBW
absolutely.
title. James Cerebral and Brady Branson. Now is it the EBW Tag Team Champions? Maybe we need to call it that. And, maybe you want to celebrate with Luke Blaze and Chris Jones. I'm going to let you go and have that victory celebration. But
I
before we
appreciate it,
do
brother.
that, I
Thank you so
want to
much.
give you the floor. I want to give you some closing thoughts and anything else you may want to plug, share, or say. And you definitely better be back because we definitely
Oh,
want you
absolutely.
involved. And I think April 3rd, we want to have you back. And I want to remind people one
Absolutely.
more time, you are officially the man of Sportswire Radio. And the floor is yours, Tommy the Man Merriman. Fire away.
I definitely appreciate it, brother. Yes, I would love to be a part of, the Sportswire Radio definitely in the future. I'm definitely going to be there April 3rd for 187 Genocides Hall of Fame induction. And, I know that, he would definitely be grateful for that. And to all the people out there, whether they're workers or not, just know that if you have something going on in your life, man, that you don't think that you can handle, don't be afraid to ask for help. Do not be afraid to hit me up personally with a private message, man. And any questions, concerns, or anything that you guys have, absolutely come my way.
Couldn't agree with you more on that. And I also want people one more time before we sign off to follow Tommy Merriman, all those great platforms. Instagram, Tommy.Merriman.58. TikTok, Tommy Merriman. Facebook, Tommy the Man Merriman. Also support our friends at XCW. All those links
Absolutely,
below. XCW season has kicked off, season 21, technically 22, according to Tommy. If you want to get more information on XCW, xcwrestling1.wixsite.com /Shelbyville. You can also check them out on YouTube where you can watch Glory that took place. And it was really, instead of XCW Glory, it was EBW Glory because EBW
absolutely,
might have had their most successful show, I would say, in maybe at least a decade. And Tommy the Man Merriman was a part of it as he had defeated Hunter Halkin. He is back. He is on a vengeance. He is on a big winning streak. Richard Regal, DJ Wolbert, Hunter Halkin. Who's next? You're going to have to find out by going to XCW and all of their social medias. Tommy the Man Merriman, it is an absolute honor to have you. Congratulations on all the success here. You are back on top, it looks like. I have no doubt we're going to see you here on Sportswire Radio more often in many other places,
absolutely.
especially XCW. And maybe, after all, we will have to rename XCW to EBW because it looks like now EBW is back and ready to reign supreme. And thank you for all that you've done, though, in being a part of All Wrestling Matters. Thank you for all that you've done here in being a leader in this sport. Thank you for all that you've done in helping XCW get to where it is today. And thank you, I guess, even to helping EBW get back on top because you guys are actually aligned despite what you guys are doing to them. So congratulations for that. And I can't wait to
Absolutely.
watch Rundown and the rest of the XCW program. And thank you so much for all that you do. I'll send you the certificate off the air. And
Thank you so
hopefully
much.
we can have you back here very, very soon. On April 3rd, we're going to continue to have you back on. April 3rd, we'll see you then.
Absolutely, brother. Thank you so much, Tom Price. It's been an absolute honor and definitely a pleasure, brother. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to get me on here, man. And dude,
I was waiting
and
for
for
this for
you,
8 months. I actually got home early to make sure to watch XCW, and I was like,
bro.
this one. I actually made sure I was not gonna miss. I was gonna be on time, prepared. I was like, no, this is Tommy Merriman. So we're gonna make sure that everybody's talking about March Madness, but today on
Oh yeah,
Sportswire Radio, we had March Madness to kick things off with the legendary 4-time heavyweight champion of the world in XCW, Evolution champion of the world, 3-time international champion, 1-time hardcore champion, 2017 class of the XCW Hall of Fame, the one and only Tommy the Man Merriman. And my name is the Reverend Tom Bryce, your voice of all wrestling, where all wrestling matters. If you're on Sportswire Radio, hang on tight in about half an hour. Join me to celebrate the career of the Atomic Titan as he goes into the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. If you're on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, hang out. I'll be back in a little while, and more XCW coverage is on the way. April 3rd as we induct Benji 187, Kurt Acid Genocide into our Hall of Fame. Tommy the Man Merriman and everybody else will be here. But until then, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. On the number one global radio station that is Sportswire Radio, where all wrestling matters. And I'll see everybody in a little while. And thank you to everybody that's tuned in from the XC.